So, all right, here we have the living room floor after the third coat of poly. Excuse me. Of course, there remain, some flaws. Some wood popped up during sanding. So I don't know if I'm just going to finish that off with a magic marker or what. Looking this way, I don't know if it's going to show up on film, but I can see flaws. I guess streak marks from the brush I used. It's so much better than after the first coat. We used a really thinned out poly for the second and third coats. It was about 25% mineral spirits, which meant that large bumps didn't remain. But I don't know, I'm still seeing flaws, so I guess it wasn't the perfect way to go. Anyway, hopefully by the time we get furniture in here, nobody will notice. I'm really pleased because even after two coats of dark stain, you can still see the grain. That was my desire, that we not lose the grain. I love that grain. Anyway, the big deal, I guess, now that we've finally gotten the floors finished, we can get stuff out of the kitchen. I mean, we won't be able to do this for 4 or 5 days. We have to let this cure. It's not enough just for it to be dry. It's still, I guess, it's really, really firm gel right now. So if I put anything hard on it, like a piece of furniture or whatever, it will slowly sink into that and will leave an impression of the foot. So we're not actually ready for the next stage, but at least we've finished the work. And what I was reflecting on with Anne last night was there's still a lot of work to be done in this house, but we've reached the stage now. Oh, and Anne did these stairs. We actually, she just got sick and tired of them. The plan was to pop them off, plane them flat. Clearly, these floors have been redone at least once before. Again, it probably won't show up on this camera, but yeah, it just won't show up. Anyway, right here, you can feel it. There's a dip where a round sander has been used to plane down, sand down the tops of these stairs. And the same is true. Oh, you might be able to see that. So right here, the slightly darker line is actually topography. I don't know what the word is, but it's a cove shape cut down into the wood. I don't know if they had, yeah, I don't know why or how, but anyway, there it is. So we've had to deal with that. In a couple of years, the plan is to actually just rip these floors up entirely. There's no subfloor under this hardwood, so it creaks horribly whenever we walk on it. And I'd like to get rid of that if possible. But anyway, who cares about that for right now? So we're at a stage now where the big jobs will be measured in hours, not days or weeks. These floors, so we've barely done anything else in the house for months because the floors needed so much work. So we had to rip up all the subfloors. When Anne was kicking plywood out of the way, that was roughly here. And you can see all of our supplies stacked up and some of our furniture, and there's more stuff in here. Our problem here is we had to move into this house before it was renovated. So we've had to always move around everything that we did in the previous stage, and musical chairs with all our crap. So everything was stored here while we were doing those floors and those floors. And now it's available to put crap in and we can finish. So I guess the next step in here is painting. Get rid of this hideous, well, it's not even, can't even see the paint practically through all the sawdust, but we're getting there. And so the next step probably will be to rip apart the kitchen. You can still see remnants of the soffit at the top there. We have to pull that down, skim the walls. Gonna get, hopefully reach out to my cousin Mark. He knows all about this stuff apparently, so he's going to be my go-to expert. I'll ask him for some advice. Skim the walls, then we can get the kitchen in, and that's it. We move in. We'll be living in a war zone essentially, but it will be livable. The vanity rebuilt. I was able to carve that actually with a grinding, not a grinding disc, but a wet dry disc on my skill saw, and it was relatively easy. The flat side, and then I had to put a 45-degree chamfer or bevel. I don't know what the correct technical term is. It was really easy, no big deal at all. Now I'll have to polish this down. So I used 400 grit sandpaper. You can feel the difference. I don't know if you can see the difference. So this area here was done, but I've got polishing discs on order. They're coming in from obviously China, so that'll take a while. Uh, but yeah, it looks like a bit of a crack shack right now. Um, well, there's no bit of. It looks like a crack shack, but we're getting there. So the housewarming can't be that far away. So hopefully you all get to see this in person sometime within the next couple of months. Thanks, bye.